This is your video orientation to LJS 110 from the Schoenberg collection in the Kislak Center for Special Collections, Rare Books and Manuscripts in the University of Pennsylvania Libraries. This is a deed of sale dated in the first Wednesday after the Feast of St. Hilary in the 31st regnal year of Edward III. So if we were to read it, that's what the date would say, which comes out to January 1358. So this is mid 14th century deed. And the document states that Robert de Crowenhale, Edward de Middelmor, John Waryn, Richard Russel, John Page, and others were present as witnesses to this sale of a life estate by John Elys and his son John to John de Beeleye and his wife Margery, and this was in Toneworth, Warwickshire. All of this is in the record, so if you didn't catch all those names, you can go to the record and check it out. So there's a lot going on here. So the date of sale, it was on one piece of parchment. You can see at the top that there's this undulating cut. There would have been another copy of this same document. So originally it would have been twice as tall. And so one half of the party, one party would get this copy, and then the other party would get the other copy. And the way that this worked, it was sort of a security system. So if there were questions in the future about the sale, and someone said, well, this isn't actually what my document says, you could put them together and make sure they line up. And if they don't line up where they were cut, then that's an indication that there's some fraud happening. There's a few spaces here where the text has been erased, here and here and here. In this space, someone has put in some other text. So it looks like maybe there was an error, and so they fixed it. And then there are about 4 lines here that have been completely, with a line drawn through it, completely cut out. So presumably these changes would also be reflected in the other document because it's very clear that this has been messed with. The only other thing I'll point out is this here. There would have originally been a wax seal here, and that's gone, and that's where there would have been a stamp to sort of officially say, like, this is the deed. So we're going to turn this over and just take a brief peek at the other side. Here is the outside, and you can see here that the deed would have been folded up, and here is a sort of notation about what the contents of it are. And you can imagine this being then put in an archive. So this is what would have been archived, but instead of being flat like we have it here, it would have actually been folded up so it would take up less space. So this is LJS 110. If you want to see more of it, you can visit the record on Find, where there's a high resolution digital copy.